Hey guys, welcome back. We are again getting some stuff ready for. I really shouldn't call this PSA Guess the Grades so much anymore, since we're really branching out to hopefully sending out to other card grading services. However, our first few items always on top of the deck will probably always be guaranteed to be sent to the PSA, as I don't think anyone is doing coins besides PSA. So we've got a Kyogre coin. It'd been cool if it was in blue. I think there is a blue version of this coin. I think that one's actually worth a lot. Again, it's that kind of plasticky one. No side nicks. Those are just where the indents are. No date. I wish there was a date. Not a whole lot of information, but there's no major damage, so I don't see why this coin couldn't get a 9 to 10. So that's what we're going to run with, 9 to 10. I think it's going to be standard for a lot of coins. I don't think coins are played with so much. I think they're kind of left in the box. 9 to 10. I think they're kind of just left in the box, and people use quarters and stuff wherever they get their hands on. No one really cares for an official coin nowadays. Older coins are worth a lot because people did use the heck out of them. So those are always good to get a hold of. Again, the Mankey sticker, the front's almost always in perfect condition in terms of scratches, just that gloss coat stuff slides off. The centering's really good on this one, which is great because the back always slightly worn, and which is indicative of this one. Although this one I usually guess 8. This one I'm going to guess 9 because I think it's cleaner cut, better centering, and I can see this getting a 9 because of that. So we're going to go ahead and guess 9 for that Mankey sticker. We try and rush these first few things pretty quickly. I don't think people care too much about them, but here we go. Some ArtFox Premiere Series. We've got a Marowak. We're going to pull off some of this extra thread. I do think the PSA will count against us based on the extra thread. And again, don't know how to really view the smudges, but we try and peel off any extra stuff we don't need. The centering on this is actually pretty decent. I have it quite a bit with the centerings all over the place, and there's not really many nicks. This could be a 9 to 10, honestly, which is kind of neat. Not the one I really would have wanted it for, but Cubone Marowak, you do you know. That'd be cool. And again, these kind of just justify the point, too, to where I talk about population reports kind of don't necessarily mean the value of something. I'm certain the population reports for 10s for all these sorts of art box things is very low because not a lot of people sent them in or held on to them or was really interested in them. And so the demand has to be there to really increase the value. And there's other reasons why population report centering is off. The other reason why population reports shouldn't necessarily be one of the main benefactors of value. The big, huge nick, I'm thinking maybe we're sitting between the 6 and 7s for this one. And the truth is population reports, they don't come off, right? So I think last I looked, PSA 8 Shadowless Charizards, there's supposedly 800 PSA ones in the world that the PSA has graded. However, it doesn't count for resend-ins, doesn't count for anything that's been destroyed since. And I just don't think I don't think it's really indicative of the actual population out there. I think it's less than 800. For that card, the demand is high. The value has dropped drastically. I mean, nearly a year ago, about 10 months ago, that card was going for about 8-10 grand. Now it goes for about 2.5 to 3. It's coming back up. I think this could get like an 8. I don't see why it couldn't. And so that card's regaining its value. The demand never fell off, but there was a massive wave of people regrading, trying to turn 7s into 8s, 8s into 9s, and 9s into 10s. I think a lot of those 9s got turned into 8s, I think a lot of those 8s remained 8s, and maybe a couple of those 7s became 8s. And so it recounted against the population value, and it didn't pull any off the pop report. And also, again, as I said, it doesn't include any cards getting destroyed between then, lost in the mail, stolen, things like that, things of that nature to where things disappear. Now this is interesting. I wonder if this is a yellow dot air, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. It does look like, I've never heard of a Machoke yellow dot air. So Shadowless Machoke, centering is fantastic. We're going to double check that yellow dot a little bit. There is a decent amount of whiting. We're going to start to send this into the PSA. But let's take a zoom in on that yellow dot. Now what we're looking at here is there's a wax coating on your cards if you didn't know. And if the white, yeah, that's a print error because it's under the wax. So I have to look up later if there is a double yellow dot Machoke print error. Put that in little notes. Yellow dot misprint question mark. This is just for me to go back and try and find it. I didn't get my guess. PSA, all that whiting does hurt it. I think we're looking at the 6s at that point, maybe even the 5s. It's a lot of whiting. So we'll say 5, so we can't be disappointed. But that yellow dot error is probably going to help in its value if it can be a justified thing. I think it is. It's an actual misprint on the card, but it is what it is. It's whatever the system wants to play as. Now, if I remember correctly, this card's in really good condition. It's hard for me to remember because I actually have gone through a lot of these. Man, this card holder is being a pain. Alright, so it's not in perfect condition, but it's in solid condition, right? If you don't know, the Hall of Foils back in the days, very hard to not have scratches on them. Still really clean, really interesting. I guess this is in the, I never understood where this was till I look at it now. And that looks like a, not a tree, that looks like an actual, like, Colosseum pole. So it's like this is probably inside Team Rocket's headquarters, which makes sense for Giovanni's Persian. Centering looks great. Everything else seems to be there. I don't see any sort of misprints or anything. Doing quick looks. Classy cat Pokemon, like that in the description. Nothing crazy, nothing that stands out to me. I'm sure there's probably something I'm missing. That's how misprints work, right? A little bit of whitening here, a little bit of whitening there. I still think this should, you know, between 7 and 8, and I think that's fair. I don't think that's too out of this world. 8's probably a little high, but the centering's all pretty there. And there's not really too much surface damage, really. So that's pretty solid. Up next is a base set Hitmonchan, and I'll say it again, I'll say it all over again. If you didn't know, Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee were actually based on real people. Hitmonchan was actually based on Jackie Chan, the actual person. That's why Hitmonchan punches more, and Hitmonlee being based on Bruce Lee, kicks more. There's a good nick up there, and centering's pretty solid. Some surface scratches, so this is between PSA and CGC. But really, from what I can tell, PSA doesn't seem to care too much about. Oh, this is a CGC card, 100%. Yeah, that needs to be sent to the CGC. This thing has some. It could be PSA, but it's just not enough value in a Hitmonchan. I'd rather take my chances with the CGC, so I will put that off to the side. Now, title of this series, or this episode, which set? Probably kind of a confusing little title, because I am confused. I'm pretty certain I've seen this card in the past when I was a kid. I'm pretty certain I've seen it in English. I know it's Master Ball. I presume that's what this is supposed to say. But as you can see, I do not recognize this set symbol. I didn't do a huge amount of searching. I'll probably look it up later. But yeah, that's why this episode is called this. Just I do not know where this card goes in terms of which set and labeling. But I will find out later. Then I don't know too if it's on purpose or whatnot, but all my Japanese trainer cards have no rarity symbol, and I doubt I'm that lucky. So they probably don't come with a rarity symbol, but I'll find out later. Really clean card. I don't recollect where I got it. Front is pretty fantastic. There's like no scratches. The centering looks to be on point. Maybe a tad bit thicker on the right. and the back is not a surprise. That's fantastic. So this will probably be a BGS card because it is in super good condition when I find out later what set it's supposed to be in and from. But that should get a BGS 9 to 10. I don't think it'd be a black label. I do think the centering's a little off, but we'll say BGS standard 10. I think so. Move that a little further away. Alright, next up is a Sabrina's Mr. Mime in Japanese. Do you see a little nick up top? This would have been an awesome card in holo. No rarity symbol. Just that background. Sadly, he wasn't a rare, and they didn't do holos out of rares back then, like outside of the realm of rares. That would have been an awesome background. Minor stuff, that should come right off. Is that not going tomorrow? Well, that's weird. It's not like almost like a thread attached to it. What the heck is that? You're getting a good solid close-up of my... Oh, I may have damaged it a little bit more myself. Okay, so I'll stop. I still say PSA, and I still say 9. I don't think I should send this to the BGS, but I think I should send this to the PSA. That's my gut feeling on that. And I think whether I damaged it or not, it would have been a 9 for PSA. So again, I'm terrible with the Japanese cards because they are in Japanese, and I do not read Japanese. I do wish I did, that is for sure. However, if I remember correctly, still beautiful card. Awesome card of Blaine. Wonderful, nothing crazy stretches in the background, no rarity symbol. Again, raises a question. I don't think I'm that lucky. I just think Japanese trainers back then didn't come with a rarity symbol. Ouch, that is a huge gap right there. So this is no longer a BGS idea. This is more, well,